The Drunk Daddies Podcast, starring Austin the Man.
Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the Abby titties.
And Vinny Pizza Rolly. I mean, I don't believe my parents should have been able to have a kid.
Well,
They were
dude,
not
you just
fit.
invalidated your own existence.
Welcome to the Daddy Cast. Hey everybody, and welcome to Drunk Daddies. We have a very special episode today. A guest from a former podcast, my best friend Trey, and he only deserves the best, so I got Fat Tire today.
Let's go. The best beer on the planet. Yeah, I love Fat Tire. It is absolutely my favorite beer, without a doubt. I didn't like beer until I tried Fat Tire and was like, wait, no, actually, this is dank. And then I slowly worked my way into liking other beers and IPAs and things like that.
What about the taste is it that gets you?
You know, I wish I knew enough about beer to describe what it is about the taste that stands out. I guess it just doesn't taste like piss, first of all, you know. Every other time I had tried beer up until I tried like Fat Tire and really liked it, I straight up just thought it tasted like piss. It just has like its own unique flavor as a beverage, and it doesn't feel like something that's, I don't know, just not good. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's the nostalgia of enjoying it that first time that makes it that much better than everything still, or what. All I know is, I mean, your cat's about to jump onto it, so it must be pretty good.
Bobby.
Hi, Bobby.
But at least to me, it definitely has its own very distinct taste. It doesn't taste like it's definitely not a light beer. It doesn't taste like an IPA. It does have its own very unique taste too, where I could see someone who doesn't like beer tries it and it's like, oh, this is something different.
Yeah, and, you know, they call it amber ale. I don't know if that's something. Are there a lot of other beers that, like, have that sort of title?
Let's see. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch because there's, like, pale ales and
Your keyboard's not typing.
now it doesn't want to work.
Maybe it's just low on battery. Maybe your backspace wasn't broken and the keyboard's just low on battery.
It's just dying, so I guess we can't look things up. Oopsies.
Oopsie poopsies. Anyway.
Technical difficulties. I'm sure there's plenty of amber ales.
Amber Heard. That's I love how that's what pops up. You type in AMB, it's like Amber Heard.
Poop the bed.
Yo, have you guys talked about that yet?
We haven't talked about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Ugh, I don't really know too much about it to really get into it. The only thing I know is every clip I see, I mean, she just comes across like she is absolutely fucking insane. And she definitely took a bump of cocaine on the stand. Like, with that, there's nothing else that clip could have been. You saw that, right?
Yeah, and thanks to the magic of post-production, I can put that clip over this segment.
But will you actually do it?
Yeah, I did it for the one you were on for, like, the moon landing. I put the moon landing video on and all that.
I do recall that. And it did look like exploding starbursts or whatever Austin was trying to say. Fruit Loops or whatever the hell.
Yeah, it looks like Fruit Loops. But yeah, Amber Heard seems crazy. Just like from what I've seen, she did try to cut his finger off, or threw glass at his finger, and it cut the tip of his finger off. Yeah, Johnny Depp's tip of his finger got cut off by her.
That's insane. I mean, I remember hearing years ago, before this whole trial like blew up, about, you know, her being the abuser. I remember when like the tapes of her like initially, I guess, leaked out, where she was like openly admitting to having hit him, and I never thought this whole trial thing would happen. I mean, it seemed pretty cut and dry, and then I found out that Johnny Depp like lost that movie role.
He lost Pirates of the Caribbean because of it.
He lost Pirates, and then he also got kicked out of the Fantastic Beasts.
Yep.
I mean, it just, yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're kind of beating a dead horse here. Everyone's heard about it. Everyone knows. But it's just kind of mind-blowing. First of all, how long all this, like, took.
It's still going on. Like, I just heard that Amber Heard's lawyer's trying to get one of Johnny Depp's exes to come in and say, yeah, he did push me down a flight of stairs.
I think I just saw something that she said. Like, I know that the girl that Amber Heard brought up, Kate Moss, I guess today, I mean, given I could be totally wrong, I didn't click the article, I didn't read it, but it said something about like Kate Moss denied any abuse ever from Johnny Depp. And so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, like, it's a delicate situation when you're talking about, you know, domestic violence, and obviously with the whole Me Too movement that happened, there's, you know, you want to create a safe space for victims to come out.
Yes.
But I'm glad that it seems to be that at least on some level society can recognize when someone is taking advantage of, you know, modern day happenings like that, and then trying to spin it to benefit them, because that's what it seems like Amber Heard is doing.
Amber Heard told Johnny Depp, hey, you're a white male. Go ahead and tell people I abuse you. No one's going to believe you.
Yeah, and then he goes, like, he what did he say? Like, right after that clip played, he said, like, I am. Like, she said, tell people you're a victim of domestic abuse. And he goes, I am. Freaking mic drop. Badass.
I've seen, like, sadly, a few articles being, like, people are like, oh my God, like, look what this person just said, look what Vogue just said. And it's like, if we don't take Amber Heard's side, the Me Too movement is dead. And I feel like if you just inherently take her side and then say, even with the evidence that's been presented, say, no, fuck that, Johnny Depp's in the wrong, you're hurting the Me Too movement more than anything, because then people are going to be like, oh, it doesn't matter the facts, you're just going to automatically side with the victim.
It's toxic politics. It really is. I mean, and this is kind of the issue, I feel like, with kind of everything nowadays when it comes to politics or, like, having opinions, is that everything needs to be cut and dry, black and white, I'm right, you're wrong, and that's just how it is. And no one can... Look, I mean, my personal opinion on pretty much everything is that the reason why we have, like, complicated issues is because, plot twist, they're complicated, they're complex. There isn't an easy, clear-cut, dry answer to everything, and everything isn't always just, like, spelled out in front of you and, you know, lacking any sort of, like, context. You know, when it comes to, like, politics and stuff, I find with most political issues, there isn't a right or wrong answer. That's the whole reason they're political issues. You know, no matter what methodology you take, left, right, in between, I don't care, there's going to be pros and there's going to be cons to the decisions you make, and then, you know, it's all probably going to balance out roughly the same, you know what I mean, outside of, like, extremism.
Yeah, I mean, and then even extremism, when you get so far left and so far right, you end up doing the same thing. Yeah, I mean, it's a circle. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. But I feel like let's, you know, I've been reading One Piece lately.
Ooh, hard pivot from the politics. Smart choice.
Hard pivot.
Let's talk about that, because One Piece is the greatest piece of high fantasy ever written, and I am a huge fan of it. It is probably my favorite thing outside of maybe, like, 3 things.
You know, I'm a One Piece novice.
Yeah.
I'm on the 4th volume.
You said you just finished Arlong, right?
And then now I'm where he just entered the town where Golden Roger got hanged.
Roger.
Or was his name?
Gold Roger. Actually,
Roger.
that's not even his name. Mild spoiler.
Oh,
his name is Gold D. Roger.
Oh my God, he's Luffy's dad.
No, he's not Luffy's dad. But you want to know another spoiler?
I mean, I know. I read the questions,
right?
And it was like, what's Luffy? What does the D and Luffy D?
Yeah, we still don't know.
Oh, Monkey D. Luffy mean? Okay, still hasn't.
Still don't know.
Okay,
but it's a thing. It's a thing that's talked about. It definitely means something. We have no idea what the origin is or, like, why it is a thing.
Let's explain One Piece to those who haven't read or watched.
Absolutely. One Piece is a manga / anime that was written by Ichiro Oda. I'm sorry if I butchered your first name, Oda. And it is at this point the second highest selling comic book series of all time. And it started in, I believe, 1997.
Yep, that's what I've been seeing.
When Oda was 22, I think he started writing it. He started making manga at 17, and then at 22, he started making One Piece.
After he won second place in like a fresh start anime competition.
Yeah, and it is been going strong for 20 plus years. It is phenomenal, and the fact that it's the second highest selling comic book series of all time, it's past Batman, and it's coming for Superman, and it's within 20 years, which, I mean, Batman and Superman are from like the 30s and 40s.
Yep.
And not only that, they're written by tons and tons and tons of different authors, and they have all these movies behind them and all of this, and there's just this one dude, and a small team. Obviously, he doesn't do all the drawings, but producing what eventually is going to be like the #1 selling comic book series of all time. So just based off that, you can guess that it's probably pretty fucking good. But as far as like how it plays out, it's actually a very like lighthearted, like animated, comedic, like goofy, wacky feeling show.
Yes.
And kind of what I, love most about it is that you really feel, especially in those early volumes you're reading, and you're about to really see it pop off once they hit the grand line, like how anything in that show is possible. Literally anything and everything, which I think is just like the epitome of fantasy. And it plays out so beautifully. I'm really, just obsessed with the show.
Well, I was super surprised in the latest chapter when it was I can't remember her name because she was ugly at first, and then she ate the slip fruit, and now
Alvida.
Alvida. Luffy's like, "Who are you? You hit me in the face." I don't think I did.
Yeah.
He's like, "It's me, the most beautiful woman ever, Alvida." He's like, "You look different." "Oh, yes, I know. Slight difference. My freckles aren't there anymore."
Have you been paying attention to like the front chapter pictures?
Yeah, so I read it's about Obi.
So
is it Obi? The sailor boy that was her.
Oh, Kobe.
Kobe and the Iron Jaw.
Yeah, his
his son, like working together and stuff, and then fucking what's his name, the clown, Buggy, like doing things, and then there was
that's
Alvida.
when they met Alvida. Yeah,
Alvida was skinny, but I was like,
it didn't click
until that part. I was like, oh
yeah. And that's a theme in One Piece, is that everything will connect. The things from early on in the show are still like being unraveled and made relevant. It's like the more you get into it, the more you can appreciate it. The further the story plays out, the more you realize it's all tied together like so seamlessly.
But the characters, obviously, they have a great variety of characters on Luffy's team. Luffy, for starters. I've been really enjoying Usopp lately, trying to take credit for everything and anything. He's like, "I'm actually captain," like telling everyone he's the captain, and then like saying, "Oh yeah, I beat." And they're like, "Oh, can we get your autograph and stuff?" And he's just stealing fame.
Yeah, I hated Usopp when I was a kid, because I didn't get it. I was not smart. That's what happens when you start watching. When you're a child, and then you rewatch or read as an adult, and it's like, oh shit, I was wrong like the whole time. Like, this is actually an amazing character. And characters you might hate initially, more than likely, if you keep reading, like, they are going to redeem themselves, like 100%.
I mean, Nami, I had to like watched it here and there. And then when I read, like, she killed Usopp, I swear to God, I remember in the anime, like, that Trey was watching, he's still alive. Like, what's going on? And then you learn everything. And she's, like he does such a good job of convincing you that she is just an evil pirate in that arc.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and she was having like her own little internal battle, internal
Yeah.
struggle. But yeah, she definitely, I mean, at no point was evil. And she was truthful when she first met Luffy and saying
Said-
she hated pirates. But she was also a pirate and didn't
Yeah.
divulge that. You
But
know?
I mean,
Not by choice.
Not by choice.
Basically by slavery.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
You know what got me too is like, so in the manga, one of Arlong's crew has a swastika on him. And he says this is a depiction of a Buddhist
Yes.
swastika, non-Nazi swastika.
Mhm.
But then Arlong's whole crew are fishmen who believe they are superior to the human race.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that's not a common like fishman belief. In fact, it's topsy-turvy. Arlong is the first fishman you meet, but there are so many more fishmen, and the fishmen are almost like the equivalent of like African Americans. Like they are enslaved, they are treated horribly and with intense racism.
Okay.
And Arlong is one of, you know, two major like underlings for this one major like fishman pirate
And he split
who
off.
freed a bunch of like fishmen slaves. And he, after that guy, Fishman Tiger, died, he you know, Jinbei, the fishman, went in one direction, you know, more, you know, following Fishman Tiger's like original, you know, hope that, you know, even though he resented humans, that things would eventually like level out and,
Yeah.
you know, all that hatred would be gone. Whereas Arlong was like, no, dude, they killed Fishman Tiger. They're racist. They hate us. And we're stronger. We are literally superior beings to humans. And we're being like, I mean, our whole existence is,
Subjugated.
yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean too. And when the, you know, as the story goes on, like the things that don't make sense or feel like they're, you know, a little off, like it plays out and you're just like, oh my God, like
Nice.
just how it really is just like my favorite piece of fiction
I'm
ever.
very excited to keep reading. Like, I can't wait to read more. Like, I've been just burning through the manga. I think I'm gonna stick to the manga
Yeah.
probably until the later seasons because I heard the animation and the fights are like
Wano.
amazing.
Insane. The like, I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen like tier, like even if not like, I mean, some scenes even better. And there's good animation scenes in all of One Piece, you know, when it really matters. But Wano has been consistently like a high value production anime, and
What about the
it's so good.
pacing?
The pacing is better than it has been, but it's still not perfect.
So is there not really filler in One Piece, but they just slow it down a lot?
There's some filler, but most of it is the pacing that really causes like, yeah, it not catching up to the manga. I mean, they will literally just have like a minute or 2 minutes of, you know, shots of the environment, and you know, if someone has a big punch, it's everyone going, ah, wow, whoa, wow, what, ah, for like literally fucking
Too long.
2 minutes, 2-3 minutes. You know, there's a four picture like page in One Piece and Wano that they drag out for like almost 4 or 5 minutes in the anime.
Okay.
Like, you know, that it's rough.
So, like, that's my only thing with the manga. Sometimes it's hard to, like, clearly depict the fight scene as well as, like, an anime can do it.
Yeah.
But then it's like, I don't want to watch the anime because of that. So I'm, like, thinking maybe I read the fight, then type in Arlong versus Luffy on YouTube, watch that
Yeah.
fight, see how cool it is,
Yes.
and then go back to the manga.
Yeah, 100%. That's a great idea. And I think that's a great way for people who don't want to invest in a 1,000+ episode TV show to, you know, take in the content and still get, you know, everything they need out of it.
Because the storytelling's great in the manga, the pictures are great, but, you know, just tends to be a thing where anime fight scenes are better than you seeing some pictures.
Yeah, especially because the big fights are when they really put in the budget.
Yeah.
You know, and you see it pay off.
Speaking of Jujutsu Kaisen, did you see Jujutsu Kaisen 0?
No, I did not.
I
Have
want to
you?
watch it, but I can't find it online anywhere.
Really?
I mean, I guess I could.
Is it on Funimation?
Nope. I can't find it a watch now. I would have to watch one of the pirated ones where it's like somebody with their phone camera in the movie theater probably.
Weird. Yeah, I mean, I've considered reading and watching Jujutsu Kaisen 0, but like I don't know how relevant it is to the story, and also just I don't know. I mean, I've been really really busy, and the like focus I've had on anime recently has been, One Piece, catching up on the One Piece manga, finally deciding to, okay, like I'm gonna stop keeping pace with the anime and like I want to read and catch up. And by the way, Wano just pretty much ended after like 4 years.
Oh wow. Okay, so that like I was reading on the back of the One Piece manga that's like end of the East Blue.
End of East Blue, yeah. That's like
So-
the first like arc. You have those small little story arcs, like, you had Syrup Village, which is Usopp's. Orange Town was when you met Nami for the first time, and Buggy. There's Arlong Park, Baratier, where you met Sanji.
So that they actually do go straight from the East Blue to the Grand
The
Line.
East Blue is a speck of the story. The majority, the hefty majority, 95, 98, 99% of the show is in the Grand Line.
Okay, so like Luffy went
You're just
from,
getting started, dude.
went from nothing to something very quickly and able to go into the Grand Line very quickly.
Have you seen his bounty yet?
30 million berries,
Yeah.
higher than Arlong, higher
Yeah.
than everyone he fought.
But, it could be even higher. Like, the thing is with Arlong is his bounty was a lot lower than it should have been.
You think so?
No, 100%. It was a lot lower than it should have been. Because
he was paying
basically...
off that one guy.
Exactly, yeah. He was basically playing, like, almost a warlord without being a warlord. I mean, he wasn't quite that strong, but he definitely, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I think he was worth at least, like, a 80 million, 100 million bounty.
So like the 7 warlords, they work with the Navy, right?
Yes. They are, there's only 7 of them, but they're kind of the equivalent of, privateers in our, actual history.
Okay.
Where the government is like, okay, we need someone to deal with these pirates. Let's hire some pirates.
Okay.
But they're ultra, I mean, super powerful people.
They're
who
ultra strong.
Yeah, and some more so than others. And it is a giant disparity actually between like the strength in certain warlords.
Okay. So like shit. So Arlong is like a fake warlord that's just splitting money with that one guy.
Kind of.
An
Yeah.
actual warlord is getting paid, or he gets paid by the Navy, right?
Paid, I don't know.
But they're allowed
They
to
don't
plunder.
get paid, but they can do whatever the hell they want. They're basically pirates that are immune from the government
because the government's
because they-
afraid of taking them on, or they don't have enough resources.
No, because the government is both, I mean, they're afraid of taking them on directly. They recognize that they're very strong beings, but the government could take care of them if they really needed to, but it's more practical for them to just say, hey, we'll let you get away with your little bit of evil or your lot bit of evil, but you got to fuck up other pirates.
Gotcha. So is that why
And, like, when we need you, you got to come.
that Swordmaster is fucking up other pirates, essentially?
Yeah, and, like, you want to talk about
Hawkeye?
and you want to talk about a disparity in warlords. Like, Hawkeye is probably, I mean, it's not confirmed. You haven't really seen him fight full strength yet, but, like, he's probably the strongest one.
Really?
And he, like, I mean, Hawkeye's insane. Hawkeye is absolutely insane. He's an equal to Shanks, which is, I don't know if you've learned this yet, but he's one of the 4 emperors, which the 4 emperors are, like, each one of them is almost an equivalent force to the Navy.
Okay. Shit. I mean, Hawkeye went up to Shanks to tell him about Luffy and was like, hey, you has-been pirate, because he only has 1 arm.
Because they're rivals. Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, I mean, and that's what I mean. They're comparable in strength, and Shanks is one of the, like, 4 baddest motherfuckers on the planet. So,
Did Shanks losing an arm affect his abilities
Still
at
no
all?
idea. We're still waiting for Shanks to do fucking anything.
He's just like this mystical figure.
Yeah,
that
literally.
Could or could not live up to the hype.
Literally, we're all hoping that he will appear like next arc, but who knows?
So he didn't even go for that one fight where the Navy like fought Blackbeard or Whitebeard.
You're talking about
and all that.
So spoilers, obviously, big spoilers if you haven't watched deep into One Piece. I don't care about East Blue spoilers. They're 20 years old. Fuck you. But as far as the war at Marineford, it ends. Whitebeard dies, and which you were there when I watched that episode. But Shanks shows up, and basically the Navy is like, Shanks shows up and he's like, all right, we're done. You're done. We're done. And the Navy's like, all right, we're done. We're done. They're done. We're done. And everyone just kind of pieces out.
Wait,
and goes
Shanks
their separate
shows
ways.
up and
Shanks
says-
shows up and shit's done.
And it's just no more.
That the fight's over.
So even
He didn't win. He didn't fight. He was like, this is done. You killed Whitebeard. Like, there's no reason to, like, just kill all these fucking pirates that are left here. Like, the battle's over. It stops now, or you're fighting me.
and they're like, we don't want to fight Shanks.
They're just like, yeah, this ain't worth it. We're not taking on a
Damn.
second Emperor of the Sea in one day. No.
Oh, Whitebeard was an emperor?
Yeah, Whitebeard was one of the 4 emperors, and then he gets replaced by Blackbeard.
Oh, okay.
But Blackbeard, I mean, from everything we've seen, I mean, he absorbs Whitebeard's power, and we don't really know everything about his power yet. But, I mean, the dude's bitch made. Like, Luffy meets him in Impel Down and fucking claps his cheeks a little bit. And Luffy at that point wasn't even that strong, But, yeah, I mean, Luffy at the point where he is in the story now is like Emperor level himself.
So
I
how
mean,
do you feel about
he got declared as the 5th Emperor of the Sea.
how do you feel about Luffy's beginning power? Strong, like kind of overpowered, or kind of balanced?
So it's interesting because between the beginning of the story and that Marineford fight, it's only 4 months.
Okay.
So him at Marineford and him now is pretty much the same outside of, the leveling up you get via the adventures and the things that happen between then and there. And I think that is a rapid acceleration, and he does gain a lot of strength. But for the most part, like Luffy at the beginning, you don't get to see it that much, but like he's strong.
Yeah, I mean, he defeated Arlong pretty easily.
but
Not easily, honestly. He did have help. He gets himself stuck in goofy situations because he doesn't take things super seriously
does.
at first.
But that's one of the things about One Piece too, is it's not like Dragon Ball Z where you can just say this character beat this character because this power level 1200, their power level 800. Like One Piece it's almost like, I mean, it's context matters.
Yeah.
Like the fights they're not, I mean, they can be kind of rock paper scissors with the devil fruits and stuff, but even then, like, anyone can probably win any fight. It just matters on what happens in the fight.
Isn't there like a guy made of lightning from a devil fruit and he can't be hurt by like physical attacks?
Yeah, I mean, those are Logia fruits, right? So
Not devil fruit.
you're made of like elements. No, it's a type of devil fruit. There's
Okay.
3 types of devil fruits. Logias at one point are considered the most powerful until you learn about mythical zone types, which are a bit more powerful, but they're kind of like a sub-type of zone types.
Should we just make this a One Piece cast?
I mean, it very much has become a One Piece cast.
I've-
We're about, I don't know how much in, but we're down the deep end. You open this door and it's like it's happened.
I feel like we should just roll with it.
Yeah, I mean, why stop?
Why stop?
Except now you knocked me off my train of thought. So.
Okay, the elemental fruits.
Oh yeah, so there's Logia fruits, right? So Logia fruits are kind of like, the flame fruit, the lightning fruit, that kind of shit. You're made of that element, and that's kind of like your power. They're
Do you
considered
become immune to certain things when you eat those fruit?
pretty much everything.
Okay.
Until hockey is revealed as like, and that's kind of like their like power scaling. Like Gold Roger didn't have a devil fruit; he just had insane hockey.
Gotcha.
And you can use hockey to punch and affect people with like Logia fruits. But hockey is very rare. In One Piece, as you get to the later story, it doesn't feel rare, but then you have to think about the context of the entire world and that,
It's all high-level people. You're just fighting
right
people
now
like
you are fighting the
super
strongest
high-ranked.
people on the planet.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, there's only like 20 so people on the planet, but you're seeing them all. So you're like, oh, hockey's everywhere. I mean, hockey is much more than 20 people, but you get what
because
I
they're
mean.
all on the Grand Line. If you're that powerful, you're going to be where you make money.
Yeah, and eventually in the New World, which is the second half of the Grand Line, which is even more scarce. And that's really where, the high-level hockey comes into play. The first half of the Grand Line, most people still don't know what hockey is.
Where's the major naval base located? Is it in a special area of the Grand Line or no?
It is until after Marineford, then they move it to the New World.
So the New World, where's that?
Okay, so this is a great
spoiler?
No, it's a great pivot to explaining the geography of One Piece. So One Piece, and at this point you could put up a picture of the world if you wanted, but basically it is a world that is almost all ocean. Down the vertical line of the globe, there is the only massive land continent, and it's called the Red Line. It basically splits the entire globe vertically.
And then there's the Grand Line, which is
the Grand
horizontal.
Line. Exactly. And on either, now you may be saying, what stops the people from the oceans just going down into the Grand Line? Well, there's these giant areas on either side of the Grand Line that are, I'm drawing a blank on the name, but
they're impossible to cross.
The water doesn't move. There's no wind.
The Navy has special tools in order to get
the calm belt.
Gotcha. And the Navy has special tools to get through to that area, don't they?
Yeah, and sea monsters are this sea kings, but they're basically giant sea monsters, are an issue, and they're prevalent in One Piece, and they're very strong things. And they breed in the calm belt and live in there, and the biggest, baddest fucking sea kings all live there. So yeah, you can't get across the calm belt if you're bitch made.
I mean, I remember seeing one sea beast. I don't know if it was that tier of a sea beast, but it was
the one Luffy punched in the beginning.
Yeah, what was it, it wasn't a panda. It was a cowfish.
Oh, that one, yeah.
A giant cowfish. I guess it's not really that strong of a sea beast, is it, compared to what?
No, compared to what's in the calm belt, not at all.
What about the one that attacked Luffy in the first,
Yeah. Once again, not that strong, right? But, multiply that by 100, you're talking about the ones in the calm belt. And
Gotcha.
They're everywhere in the calm belt. So you can't go through the calm belt. So the world is split in that way. And then, so that gives you 4 main oceans: the North Blue, the East Blue, the West Blue, the South Blue. East Blue is considered the weakest when you talk about the level of pirates and strength that comes out of there.
But I mean, it would be hard for a West Blue pirate to get into the East Blue because of the calm lines, right?
Yeah, I'm not even 100% sure how that shit happens. I mean, I guess you have to go into the Grand Line and around, or maybe in that intersection point where all of them kind of converge and then go into the Grand Line. Maybe there's a way to be all right, skirt, we're going to the East Blue. That part, I'm not,
I mean, in the
super
early
sure
manga,
about.
you don't read really about anyone who hasn't been in the Grand Line, being able to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So that's probably...
I mean, you can get out of the Grand Line, and at the end of the day, you can come across the combat. Like when that guy who gets clapped at the Baratier, I can't remember, Don Krieg, they all came back across the combat. That's why they were all starving, I think.
Yeah, they were
Yeah, and then Mihawk was just following behind him I'm going to slash these guys in half.
Yeah, he just doesn't like them for some reason.
Well, he's a warlord.
But he recognized Zoro as a legit, swordsman.
Yeah.
Which was dope.
Yeah. And there's more to come with that relationship.
Yeah. I mean, Zoro just came across a woman who hates when men use swords for evil, and she wants to collect all of the master grade swords, or whatever they're called, the fine swords.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she's gonna come into play later in the series as well.
Yeah, I mean, Smoker. Yeah, she is. I mean, she's pretty major for the first half of the series, and then it's kind of toned down recently. But Smoker, her boss, and her are pretty prevalent in the first
her captain
half of the
survives. Because right now he's about to fight Bugsy, Alvida,
I mean, he's a Logia user. He's the first Logia user you meet.
Oh shit, that's
he's made
what's
of
up.
smoke, so they can't fucking.
Okay.
I mean, he's.
And no
What
one
are you
there
gonna
has
do?
hockey.
No one has hockey. What are they gonna do?
What is the slip fruit? It seems like nothing can touch Alvida at the moment. Where
Yeah,
I'm reading.
literally, it's OP and she underutilizes it. I mean, it's literally how it sounds. Shit just be slipping off of her, and she slip off shit.
Okay, can she? But it seems like
Bullets
she can still
slip off.
still land a devastating blow to people.
Yeah, I mean, she carries a club, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess if she were to try to physically punch someone, that would slip off.
maybe, but also if something hits you and slips, it doesn't necessarily mean the force behind it doesn't still move
Impact
into
you.
you.
know,
Yeah.
it's you take less damage. It doesn't
Yeah,
mean you
maybe.
take no damage.
Yeah, and I'm not even 100%. You know.
I mean, that's like in cars, if you hit something head on, that you take a lot more force than if you just clip it with your bumper
Yeah.
and slide off.
But yeah, man. One Piece is a work of art, and I love it. And yeah, that was a hell of a tangent, but I don't know. I mean, is there more to talk about there?
No, I mean, I guess at least to where the level I'm at in One Piece, there's not enough for me to be
'Cause
like.
I don't want to spill out the whole show for
Well,
you.
also not a lot of back and forth, which is kind of what podcasts are about.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love One Piece. I think everyone in the world should read it or listen to it or watch it or whatever. You need to take in that content in some capacity.
So John, I guess that's a good enough first. Everybody's named John. A guy named John we work with.
a guy named John who watches One Piece, there can only be one.
There can only be one. But nah, I was talking to him about D&D. I invited him to play D&D with us. I probably should have invited him to play this with us, but I guess I still can if I really wanted to. But he was talking about how he wanted to make a human railgun. So basically, you gather a bunch of villagers together,
Okay.
or people, NPCs together. You get them to form a line and pass a rock to each other. And something about D&D where it's like you can move the rock through 6 people within 6 seconds or something, and he told me the math behind it. And the last person who throws the rock would be launching it at like a nuclear bomb level of damage because of how much force
It keeps the momentum as if it's been traveling in
if
the
you
air.
were to just do the rules as they are read
Right.
instead of interpreting them,
Right.
it would make it a nuke.
Fuck yeah, dude. I mean, I
He's
love
like-
D&D.
he's
Anything's
like-
possible.
He's like, I would hope Trey would let me get away with that if we were to play together,
I
because
mean-
I've been really wanting to test pilot this.
And the one that we're doing, I mean, it's
My-
pretty much going to be anything goes. Like, I can't deal with people. Like, I can't expect everyone. Oh, like, we're busy. We're adults. Like, everyone's not going to be able to take the time to take in all the D&D content and learn it perfectly and then follow everything perfectly by the rules. Like, let's just have a laid-back game and
That's
have
fun.
you know?
Yeah, have one guy kill everybody else in the party. That's fun.
So maybe we should explain what we're talking about a little here.
Okay, so we were playing.
Now hold on. Maybe give some background about D&D, and then give background
Okay.
about how you fucking murdered all of your friends.
D&D is a role-playing tabletop fantasy RPG. I guess it's a tabletop fantasy RPG. You and your friends get together. You build some classes out of the book. You have a fun time. You choose wizard. You choose paladin. They all have special, things to them. Definitely a fun game that I recommend playing with your friends. There's great online things that automate it, like Roll20, so you don't even have to be together to play it. Definitely, if you're interested, still read like the rule book, read the classes, buy like a campaign? Buy a campaign so you don't have to write a whole campaign yourself. And as a DM, practice makes perfect. Nobody's a perfect DM right out of the beginning, so don't get discouraged just because the first game isn't as good as it is. And honestly, the game's gonna be fun as long as everyone is having fun.
Yeah.
If you try to rule lawyer it or your friends aren't participating because they're, a little scared of role playing, then, just encourage them to role play. Don't be too big of a rule lawyer, especially at first when people are new. But obviously, certain things you can't let fly. So, fantasy, there's a background to things. There's a campaign that you're trying to complete. Different classes. I chose a paladin, which follows a god. Usually they're law-abiding and good, or law-abiding and evil, depending on which one you pick, because you can follow like an evil patron. But I chose like a lawful neutral almost path, because I picked Oathbreaker, or not Oathbreaker. Shit, it's escaping me. I picked
Oath of Vengeance, right?
Oath of Vengeance, which gives you leeway in what you would do, because as long as it gets you to your final goal, it's okay. You can come to terms with what you've done, instead of being like, stealing's wrong, so I can't steal. It's like, if stealing this gets me to this point to where I can finally get my vengeance, it's okay. And so, anyways, I'm a paladin. I don't like people doing drugs. Alcohol's not a drug. I was an I was an alcoholic paladin whose daughter got stolen by the Fae, where it's actually my wife is Fae, and I had a child with her, and I was a bad alcoholic, so she left with her, and now I'm blaming all Fae for this.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, but, I can't accept things because I'm an alcoholic.
Right.
Anyways, so I'm walking with these druggies.
Wow, this fiction mirroring real life a little bit as we sip some beer.
No, dude, I've made a pact to not drink when I have my daughter.
That's really respectable. You know what I do with my daughter is just love the fact that she doesn't exist.
That's nice.
I love that, except me when you punch me after the podcast because of the fact that I said a few too many times.
If you actually look at the last podcast, I would like someone to put a counter on it and tell me how many times I said
Oh, wait, should we talk about that? I mean, not to derail the D&D conversation.
Okay, I'll wrap up the D&D.
Wrap it up, and then we'll pivot. Yes, please, because I want to talk about that, because that's the one episode I haven't finished yet.
Damn, that's sad. I get it. So after like the first 30-something minutes, the podcast gets a lot better because we stop role-playing.
Yeah.
So anyways, D&D, my group were druggies. They were trying to buy heroin from someone. They bought heroin. It fell on the ground, and I was like, yo, you can't have this. I'm a paladin. And I go to grab it, and I get zapped by lightning. Luckily, paladins at level 3 are super OP.
Compared to everyone else.
Compared to every non-tanky class. I'll say that because everyone else was in a tank. And so I was able to use my my abilities and spells to one-shot somebody, fight the other one.
And then the other's sitting back the whole fucking time I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
He want to take action.
And then he's the last one left, and he's like, I guess I'll do something. And then he dies too.
So what happened was I knocked down the other guy. I'm about to kill him. The guy's like, I'm going to do something. I'm like, I got touch hands, motherfucker. I'll refill all of my hit points right here. And so I healed myself up all the way, and I murdered him too.
It was so terrible. I spent so long grinding us through this part of the game that was, everyone said it was bad. I was like, it won't be that bad. It was so bad. It was so boring. And then we finally got out. We're finally making progress in the story. And then Wyatt says, fuck everyone. I'm murdering them.
Well, they attacked me.
I mean, it made sense for your character, but maybe that's why your character wasn't good for D&D.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyways, last podcast, we had a whole idea of we're going to do a conspiracy cast, talk about conspiracies. And I was like, well, if we just agree on everything and we're talking about conspiracies, that'd probably get a little boring. So why don't we do an interview style where Austin with his chocolate voice interviews.
God. And I am no replacement for that man and his sweet, beautiful, chocolatey voice, because it is just, I mean, can we pause and appreciate Austin a little bit?
Austin has a really good voice.
It's built for podcasting.
Yeah, unlike ours.
Yeah, no, I sound like a fucking, I sound like a squeaker who grew up, and that's exactly what I am.
I sound like I don't know. I guess I sound
I sound like I've been smoking for 42 years.
That is actually the meaning of death too. So, 42.
Oh, I thought that was okay.
Isn't it
Continue.
42?
That's a meaning of life.
Life, death, same thing.
Are they?
Yeah, someone dies, someone's born.
All right.
But we're putting on. I wrote a whole fucking script. I feel like it would have played out a lot better if I had the script because I wouldn't be going 24/7. So I would have been reading from the script. I would have, not completely said whatever was on the script, but put my own thing on it. Blah blah blah. And I wouldn't have said a million times, but because I didn't study the script enough, and we're doing it last minute because we've been stuck in this last minute cycle of recording, then editing.
Thus Trey being here because someone got sick with possibly COVID.
Yeah, so it's been rough. But the last 20 minutes of the podcast, very solid. We make a lot of jokes. It's like back to the old. We tried something new. It's not always gonna hit. We're averaging 9 viewers on Spotify, so hell yeah.
It's time to experiment, dude.
Yeah, time to experiment, time to see who we can get into the podcast who wouldn't naturally be in it. And then, just work from there.
Yeah, I mean, even this podcast, right? I'm sure there will be a lot of people who don't appreciate it because it is kind of niche. We rant about One Piece for a long time, and then we talk about D&D, which is also kind of niche.
Kind of.
It's getting bigger.
The nerdy things of the past are blowing up. People who I would never expect to watch anime. The jocks in high school are watching anime. D&D's cool. It's just like all this stuff that you used to get bullied for, made fun of for, is now so popular that everyone's about it. Like a hot girl that would have never talked to you before because you watch these things, even if you were a hot guy, what are now watching it and they're like, oh, and now they're dating ugly men because they watch it.
They're dating ugly streamers with fat checkbooks, let's be honest.
That's true. I'm looking at you, Michael Reeves.
I'm looking at you, Donkey. No, I'm just kidding. I love Donkey.
Donkey, his personality.
I would marry Donkey.
Yeah, you can't get past
and
that.
And I'm straight. I mean, he's just fucking hilarious. He's a comedic genius.
So, how about this? Has there been anything like a parent has told you to do that you're like, oh, this is something I should do? And then you bring up later in life and your parents like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, and you lived your whole life to that because they said like, oh, you always make sure your air pressure's good at least every 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Or something like that. And then you've been like, yeah, I've been checking my tires air pressure every 2 weeks. And they're like, why? Why aren't you doing it like every 3 months? Like, you're wasting your fucking time. And you've lived your whole life by that philosophy. And now you're just questioning your existence.
Is that real? Is that something you've done?
Yeah, I'm sure like my father has said I've done that. I blocked out a lot of memories now. Okay, one thing is my daughter.
So sad, but funny.
My dad definitely has said I hate it when people are fucking late. Those fucking fat lazy pieces of shit. I'm never late.
Damn.
And then so I have this anxiety about ever being late somewhere, so I will legit show up somewhere 30 minutes early.
Yeah, me too.
Because of that. And then I go back down to South Florida, and he knows I'm there, and he's like, sorry, I show up when I show up.
Not quite what you just said, but you did just remind me of a sad dad moment. I appreciate the drunk daddies because they're good fathers. My dad, interesting relationship. But probably one of my earliest memories I have of like interacting with my dad back when, really when I was super young, dad wasn't around a lot. They got divorced when I was like 2. But I remember him coming to daycare for some reason, and I had tried to tie my own shoes and did a miserable job of it. They were like all tied in knots, and it was just not good. And I'm like, Dad, can you fix my shoes? And he's like, untying them, trying to fix them, and they're all tied in a knot. And he's like, "Who the fuck fucking did this stupid bullshit? Like, who the fuck would tie these shoes like this? These are impossible to do." Just fucking murdering whoever tied my shoes. And I start tearing up. I'm crying. He's like, "Hey, bud, what's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing."
I remember being a kid in like preschool and not knowing how to tie my shoes.
Dude.
And they're like, only people who know how to tie their shoes are allowed to take them off for nap time. And I was like,
What?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I can, I'll just slip them on. I'll slip them off and on. I can do that. I know how to do that. My shoes came untied. And I started crying because I had to ask the teacher to tie the shoe. I was like, oh my God, these came untied. What the fuck am I going to do?
Dude, I learned how to tie my shoes so late, like the proper normal way.
Yeah.
I literally bunny-eared until I was like 13.
I mean, SpongeBob didn't even save me.
Dude, SpongeBob, I mean, you make a loop-de-loop and pull. How is that helpful?
And your shoes will be forever cool.
That's not even the words.
It doesn't matter.
And your shoes are looking cool. It does matter. It's SpongeBob.
I used to get attacked for not being able to remember lyrics correctly, and you're triggering that in me right now.
Used to. I feel like I attack you for that pretty much daily.
Oh, I wanted to talk about this. I mean, let's go back to your dad first, and then I'll go to that. But I love how your dad says he's always going to get you, like, a birthday present.
Oh, my God, it's true.
And then he never does.
No, he doesn't. He fucking doesn't. He's a, interesting guy. I don't want to hate on my dad. I love my dad, but, I love my dad like a son. Because he is not the parent in the relationship most of the time. Yeah, I mean, he's like, whenever we talk on the phone, he's like, "Yeah, give me a call sometime." I'm like, all right, first of all, I feel like parents should be calling their kids, but whatever. But then even beyond that, yeah, every year for my birthday, for Christmas, it's the same bullshit, dude. Like, the last gift I got from my dad was probably when I was like 11 or 12. He got me like a blue and white basketball. That's how monumental it was, is that I fucking remember I got it when he was in Port St. Lucie, and I was like, wow, like, he knows I like basketball, and he got me this. Like, wow,
Nice.
My dad is acting like a dad. Yeah, pretty much every year since he calls me, he's like, "Yeah, your present's in the mail," or "Yeah, I'm sending you money," or this or that, and just nothing ever comes. And it's like, dude,
Hashtag
do you think
your
this
mom's
has
been
worked
stealing
for
the
13
money the
years?
Whole time.
Dude, she deserves it for all the fucking child support he didn't pay. And that's the other thing, dude. My dad, like, complaining to my face about the child support he has to pay now. Yeah, maybe you should have fucking paid it when I was, like, a child and my mom was raising two kids by her goddamn self. He still owes the money, so he still has to pay it off.
Hell
and he's like, complains about it. I'm like, no, dude, you should have given her that money when it would have bought me fucking Christmas presents that you weren't buying me,
or shoes,
or anything, or food, or shoes. Yeah, like fucking anything. And it's just like, dude, have some fucking awareness. Like, don't come bitching to me about how you, like, didn't support me as a kid, and now you still have to send my mom the money, and you're salty about it. Like, my mom fucking deserves the money. She went through hell raising two kids by herself on a teacher's salary while you were doing what? Sticking your thumb up your ass and, like, being a surveyor.
Lol. After you said you didn't want to put him on blast.
Look, I'm not putting him on blast.
People.
I still love my dad.
Yeah.
Just, like a son. And sometimes you have to roast your son for sticking their thumb up their ass and bitching about shit that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely love somebody without...
You can acknowledge their faults and still love them.
Yeah. And it's like, learning about, like, just listening to this other thing about forgiveness isn't for the person, it's for you. So you're able to let go of the hurt they caused you, so you don't have to live with that pain anymore. Like, that was a big thing. Like, my mom's shit, always been shit, and I didn't want to forgive her. I wanted to hold on to, like, the hate and anger and resentment towards her, but that wasn't affecting her.
No.
It didn't fuck up her day at all. It was just messing mine up.
Fucks with you, fucks with your head.
Yeah. So forgiveness is, like, powerful. It's not weak to forgive somebody.
No, but it's for it, and it's for you.
Yeah.
It's not for them. you know. And do I forgive my dad for never giving me a gift? Like, honestly, I don't even care. I just think it's funny to mention. But yeah, of course I forgive him. I don't even expect it. I don't really expect a gift from anyone.
But this is where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Was like, you're like, I dig death metal, like, instrumentals. They're sick as fuck, but you can't understand what they're saying.
That's true.
Trey also loves anime music, and I know he doesn't speak fucking Japanese.
I'm getting a phone call, and the thing's paused
God
because we're late for
damn it.
D&D.
Holy shit.
Wait, let's just pause this and then resume later. Let's just pick up again after
All
D&D.
right, we'll pick up.
All right, we're going to pick up the podcast after a sick D&D session.
After a sick D&D.
The issue is you listen to music. You don't watch music. I'm not watching lyric videos. I'm not 12 anymore, bro.
Oh, what about AMVs?
AMVs were fucking legit, dude. I loved AMVs when I was a kid. I would watch fucking, like, In the End Naruto AMV, One Piece AMV. Like, any fucking song that I thought went hard, I was like, you know what this would be great too? A fucking Naruto fight.
Fucking anime?
Anime? Why not?
Yeah. It was dope. Some AMVs were fire as fuck. Music does hype shit up.
Music hypes shit up, you know? Honestly, that's how you should be taking in the One Piece videos, like you were mentioning earlier. Like, when you want to, like, you read the fight and then just look up, Luffy versus Arlong AMV.
Oh, wow. Linkin Park really goes hard to this Luffy fight.
Oh, this is cool. Like, when he does the axe kick, it's right when the bass drops.
Oh, a Skrillex video with with Luffy?
Oh, man. Oh, jeez. So you guys might have missed it. I don't know what's getting edited and what's not, but we did have a bit of a stark, sudden stop there, due to having pre-planned plans for 8 p.m. And now we're returning.
We're returning a little bit more drunk.
A little bit more drunk.
A little bit
than
more
we
drunk.
were before.
I mean, do you need a beer?
Yeah, I could use a beer.
I could use a beer.
Why don't
All
you
right.
go and grab us
Let
some
me
beer?
go grab us some beer,
All
and either you can talk and do some funny stuff, or I can edit this out. Up to you.
Yeah, okay. So why don't I try that, and then if it fails miserably, you can edit it out. So I'm starting to feel like it's going to get edited out because I don't know what to talk about. But, I'm here. I'm talking into a microphone. And, this is, I guess, the part where I start treating the podcast like my own personal therapy session. So let's go back. Let's go back to the early days. I was just a little boy. My name was Trey.
All right, I'm back.
Oh, thank fucking God. I had no idea where I was going with that.
Who
dude.
knows? I might not even edit that out because it was so short. I was so quick to grab the beer.
You're on top of it, man. You're an absolute fucking animal. Are you going to open mine?
I'll
like
open
a
yours.
G?
I guess.
What a good guy.
I'm the host, so.
The host with the most. Vinny Pizza Rolly. Ah! I love it. Another fat tire, another good time. Another good 30 minutes of content.
Another good 30 minutes.
Let's
Notice
drag
how
this
we
shit
don't
out.
have the box in front anymore. That's because the beers were getting hot.
Yeah, we had to move them on into the fridge because we were taking our sweet time, enjoying. And honestly, we took a little break, enjoyed some good times with some friends, playing some more Dungeons and Dragons.
We might have a spin-off podcast called I'm Drunk and You Call Me Daddy. So be on.
Was that it?
I think I'm drunk and you call me daddy.
I'm
Does that
drunk,
not
but
hit?
she calls me
Oh,
daddy.
I'm drunk, but she calls me daddy.
Yeah, that's it. I
So-
think that's a great name for
So
a
that'll be a
podcast.
spin-off cast for Drunk Daddies where we have our friends on. We might have like a 6-group session or something if our one friend comes up with his other friends, which would be dope.
Yeah, that'd be a really, really good time. Honestly, I'm totally down to be on that podcast anytime. If you want to do it just me and you to do it because we're hanging out all the time, I'm also totally down.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a great idea. I mean, the more the podcast is out, the more it's going to become popular. And quite frankly, my friend, you and Austin are fucking hilarious.
Speaking
I have a
of
good time
which,
watching.
definitely follow us on Facebook at drunk_daddies. Follow us on Instagram at drunk_daddies. Follow us on TikTok at drunk_daddies, even though they take down some of our videos because it goes against their content because you can't say, like, beating my meat on it for some reason.
You can't say beating your meat on TikTok?
Or beating your wife. I don't know which one got flagged.
Okay, it's probably the wife one.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's one thing to beat your meat. It's quite another to,
But
commit
we're
domestic
talking about,
abuse.
like, domestic, the cop goes to a domestic violence situation, and he whipped his dick out, and, he got caught.
This
'Cause
is...
that's
What
legit.
episode did I miss?
That was on the last one that you didn't finish.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I got lost in the Bigfoot lizard talk in the tunnels.
Yeah, I could see how it's a little bit harder to listen to, but anywho.
Yeah, anyway, I mean, kind of moving on a little bit.
We also have a drunk_daddies clips on YouTube, so follow that. Have our greatest clips on it, our funnies. If you don't want to watch the entire podcast, you can watch those clips, though. Watch the entire podcast.
Yeah,
you
watch the
assholes.
entire podcast anyway.
Rate us on YouTube, or subscribe to YouTube, like the video, and rate us on Spotify.
Do all that shit because these guys are working hard. They have full-time jobs. They're giving their all, and they're really putting everything they have into, something on the side that they're passionate about.
Yeah, I neglect my kid for this.
Yeah, he does. And, it's ironic because they talk about being dads, but, like, his kid's been starving for weeks because every free
She
second
was
he
getting
has...
tubby. I don't want a tubby kid. I'm not about fat America.
Oh, wait. Okay. Not to pivot away from jokes and into something a bit more serious, but what are your thoughts on, like, the whole, like, fat acceptance thing in America? Like, do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Do you think, like, body positivity is
Okay.
good, bad, what?
So being fat, I have no problem with. I'm not going to judge you because you're fat. If you try to say, oh, you're not attracted to someone because they're fat, and that's a problem, then that's an issue with me, because the thing that happens to males is, oh, you're not over 6 foot, don't even talk to me.
Facts.
So, fuck that. But, I don't care if you're fat. Go on Victoria's Secret. I don't care if you're fat. That's all chill. It doesn't hurt me at all. I'm not Jordan Peterson, who commented on a slightly chunky chick who had thick-ass thighs and said she's not beautiful to me, and then got...
Oh, my God. Is my phone getting a call right
You're
now?
getting a call right now.
Dude, I thought I was on Do Not
God.
Disturb, bro. Who's calling me?
I don't know. I just said fuck you.
We can edit that.
Yeah, we're back. Anyways, Jordan Peterson got clapped back on Twitter because he posted, like, oh, this Victoria's Secret model that's barely chunky is, she's too fat to be hot. And then people hammered him with comments saying, like, fuck you, dude. And he said, I'm going to quit Twitter. You guys are too mean. Little bitch boy. What do you think Twitter's for? Like, he's so controversial, like, all the time. And then when he posts something on Twitter and gets attacked, he cries, but he's all about free speech.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Peterson's one thing, probably something that I haven't looked enough into. I mean, I tried to read one of his books, and the first chapter was great, and then it got progressively worse from there. But pivoting back to, like, the whole fat acceptance thing, I mean, like you said, I don't care if someone's fat. I do have an issue with people, like, judging people for their own beauty standards. Like, I think it's one thing to say something about societal beauty standards, but I don't think you have any fucking right to talk about an individual and what they find attractive.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the day, it's their business. And even if it's, like, bred from, like, some internal, like, unfair, like, hatred, is it morally right? No. Is it their right to have, like, their opinion of what they're attracted to or not?
Yes.
Yeah,
if they're not attracted to fat people, so be it. If they're not attracted to short people, that's their right.
Yeah.
But you can't have it one way and not the other. Like, if you're attracted to somebody, you're attracted to somebody.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
And beauty at the end of the day is completely subjective. But then
But
really what tilts me is just the like and I think most people are on the same side with this, but you know, just to beat the dead horse a little bit, what fucking bothers me is when people try and pretend that like it's not a health issue, or like it's not.
Why does the doctor ask for my weight?
Yeah, I mean that's just fucking ridiculous. That's absurd. Like, the doctor asked for your weight because it relates to your health, and his job is your health.
He wouldn't ask for something that he didn't need.
Yeah, literally.
If it didn't actually come down to, like, a need, he wouldn't ask for it. Because then it's not important. He just needs to know certain things.
People aren't just asking random questions for their job just because they want to make you feel insecure. Like, they're asking your weight because, yeah, if you're 5 feet tall and 260 fucking pounds, you have a problem. Like,
it's gonna affect your health.
And if you want to call yourself beautiful, that's fine. And maybe
it doesn't make
for
you
a lot
not
of people,
beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe a lot of people do find you beautiful. Maybe you're fucking gorgeous. But at the end of the day, you're unhealthy. There ain't a single person who's 260 pounds at 5 feet tall and is healthy on the fucking planet.
No, it still affects your heart.
It affects your heart. It affects, like, your general...
Everything.
Like, everything.
Your,
head to toe.
Insulin levels, like, all that.
Yeah.
But, I want to go somewhere after this, and now I've lost everything. Yay, beer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I haven't eaten anything all day except the Cheez-Its you handed me about halfway through our D&D session. And then, yeah, being like 3 beers in, I'm pretty fucking lit right now.
I had some Wendy's earlier.
What's your go-to fast food meal?
In where I live?
No, just in general. Go-to fast food meal. Like, if you had to pick a fast food place, one meal, it's like consider you're, like, on death row, and they tell you get a final meal, but it can't be anything fancy. It has to be fast food. What are you picking?
Pollo Tropical.
Does
Chop.
Does Pollo even count, though?
Yeah, it is fast food because you can go through a drive-through.
Okay. Yeah, but the drive-through takes 40 minutes, so...
I mean, it's still fast food.
All right,
it's
fair.
still in that genre. What
really
would
a
yours
Choppy
be?
Chop? Fucking Taco Bell, dude. I've been so obsessed with Taco Bell recently. It's not even funny.
I'm not the biggest fan of Taco Bell, honestly.
Oh, dude, it's because everything there is dog shit besides the cheesy gordita crunch. I've been trying to find a side for my cheesy gordita crunch besides the cheesy nacho griller for I don't know how long.
I used to like their potato burrito, their cheesy potato burrito.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty fire because I had like really fried tater tots in it.
Yeah.
That was really good, but they removed that for some reason from
Wait,
their...
it's not a thing anymore?
I don't think
I
so.
think it's on their dollar menu, the burrito, but it's my issue is anything that's a burrito, if you get something that's not a taco shape at Taco Bell, it's ass because they load everything in one corner. Like, I've had a really good Crunchwrap Supreme, and I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be my side order for my 2 cheesy gordita crunches. Dude, Taco Bell, you need to learn how to fucking make your own food. The issue with the Crunchwrap Supreme is it's like 1/5 of it has all the cheese. 1/5 of it has all the beef. 1/5 of it has all the lettuce. 1/5 of it has all the tomatoes. It's fucking absurd, dude.
I read a green text that was really funny about Chipotle. That was like that. It's like you build my burrito, and I bite top down into it, and it's only lettuce, and then it's only cheese. So I have to eat my burrito like a goddamn monster sideways to get like any enjoyment out of it.
No, it's fucking. I haven't had that issue at Chipotle, but that definitely summarizes my Taco Bell experience without a doubt. Like, it's like everything I try and fucking try or eat, it's like, oh, that whole bite was just cheese. It was just cheese. All right, what's this next one? Oh, is it going to be lettuce or beef? Oh, it's all the lettuce inside of it all at once. I fucking love it.
I saw a life hack that was like when you're at Chipotle and you want to ask for double meat, don't say it till after they show you the original meat they give you because they'll give you less if you ask before.
I mean, that's true. I don't even necessarily think that's Chipotle exclusive. Same thing.
No, that's probably everything.
Go. Yeah, Subway, whatever. Or, try being really nice to the employees. Like, I was really patient for the Subway employee next to our job the other day. And, they totally hooked it up as far as like the meat. I was like, hey, can I get an extra scoop of meat? And she was like, hell yeah.
I'll
She
be
like put on so much extra.
Hell
She was
yeah.
like, she was like, because you were patient. You waited for these online orders, and the lady in front of you with 4 fucking sandwiches. If you go to Subway and you order 4 sandwiches at once,
don't listen to
fuck
this podcast.
you. Don't listen to this podcast. You've been asked. Don't listen to this podcast. Don't listen to Drunk Daddies, or don't listen to I'm drunk and she calls me daddy. Either one.
Ostracizing more people.
Just
Hell
get
yeah.
out. Get out. We're taking out one group of people at a time every episode of the podcast until the podcast is over.
The people that we want listening.
If you order more than 2 sandwiches at a time at Subway, fuck you.
Even if you're going for your job, order
Fuck
online.
you.
Order online.
Order online.
Why would you want to wait all
What?
that time?
You're doing it to yourself, dude. It's ridiculous.
It's like your lunch is only this long, and then you come back 45 minutes later and you get written up for it.
Literally.
Like, I'd write you up.
I would.
Yeah, fuck you.
Fucking hell, dude. Ugh. And it's like, dude, either... shit. And now restaurants, speaking of online orders, it's also kind of fucking annoying because if you walk in anywhere, they're doing like 80 million online orders. So they don't even like...
Shout out Firehouse.
It's shout out Firehouse Subs, like dead ass. I walk in there's one person ahead of me. I'm waiting 25 minutes for my fucking sub because there's one person ahead of me, but there's 15 online orders. And everyone's online ordering because they don't want to have to wait in line because they know it's going to take forever because they're behind all the other online orders.
And then it costs so much. You're instead of spending $10 at Firehouse, you're spending $23, $25 for a meal. Like,
Oh, because
Jesus
shit
Christ.
costs more online?
Online ordering is so expensive. You get McDonald's and it's like $30 fucking by the time you're done with
Dude,
it.
it's all a trap.
Like, who can afford that? I don't understand how many
no one
people
can afford
do it.
fucking anything nowadays. Like,
Gas is like insane.
yeah. I mean, not to beat the dead horse on the economy, or beat the dead horse with saying beating the dead horse today, because I've said that a lot. But, Jesus, dude, everything is so expensive right now. And the issue is it's like, no matter what you do, you're costing. Like, I hate that people are like, oh, you eat out all the time. Like, it's so expensive. Why don't you go grocery shopping? It's like, dude, if I go grocery shopping, it is literally just as expensive. Like,
Well,
I'm choosing to spend $200 to $300 at once rather than spending like...
I feel like it's not as expensive, but with today's current jobs where they expect you to be there from open to close all the time, you don't have any time to go grocery shopping.
Yeah, I
you're
don't have
supposed
time.
to live at work.
No, but even when I go, it's like... I mean, there are some things you can do that are cheaper, right? If I want to live off fucking, lunch meat and bread... It'll be cheaper
But then
to
your
go
health.
grocery shopping. But that's not what I want to be eating every day.
No.
But if I'm trying to, like, buy enough to make myself, like, meals all the time, first of all, yeah, who has the time to cook their own meals? Not me working a full-time job. Hell no. I don't know how the fuck people do it. It's like, it feels like all these things that are traditionally, like, you expect them through, like, traditional media and what you see on TV when you grow up, like, people, moms and dads cooking dinner and everyone eating together. It's like, how the fuck does that even happen?
That's because 40 years ago, it used to be a one-person income house, and the mom stayed home all day and cooked and made dinner and did everything else. But it's too expensive these days to have someone stay home, and you have to have a 2-income family or you're not going to survive. And so it's like you're just fucked no matter what you do.
Yeah, I mean, they're really tough right now. Shit's expensive. Jobs don't pay enough. No one wants to work. Every job is hiring but doesn't want to pay well.
No.
And everything is just constantly getting more expensive.
Well, that's the whole thing with no one wants to work. It's like you look at a job that pays like $25 an hour. They don't really have a shortage.
no.
You look at a job that pays $40 an hour. There's no shortage.
Yeah.
No one wants to work at Taco Bell for $10 an hour.
No,
to
no
pay
one's doing
everything
that
in
anymore.
Gas.
Because you can't. Yeah, you can't. It's gone beyond like the argument of a livable wage.
Yeah.
Now it's the issue of, is this wage even worth putting myself through the job? And I think a lot of people, especially post-COVID, have realized, no, it's
Especially with the rent increasing so much. Like, how are you can't afford rent. Like,
Dude.
you have to have a 2-bedroom house and have 4 people live in it to afford a rent.
To afford anything.
Like, I live in the bumfuck nowhere, and rent for a 2-bedroom house is $1,300 a month.
Yeah.
Like, how do you afford that on a 1-person income if you're
You
not
don't.
making good money?
No.
Because you're supposed to make 3 times your rent. Yeah, 3 times your rent is what you're supposed to make in order to afford it. So $3,600 a month. I don't make $3,600 a month.
Oh my God.
I don't even make 3 times my mortgage right
Dude,
now.
everyone would have to do what I did, which is buy a trailer. I bought a trailer, and I live in a trailer.
Yeah,
I am trailer trash.
Not a mobile home.
No.
A trailer.
A travel trailer. A very nice one, but a travel trailer.
And then you could afford. But if you have kids, like
No,
and they
that's
want,
not an option.
And they're trying to make it to where abortions are an option, so they want everyone to have a kid. So what, are you supposed to live in a travel trailer with 3 fucking kids?
It's rough, man. I mean, and this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, everyone wants to pretend like issues are like cut and dry, black and white, easy solutions, but like there's always going to be pros and cons. And I'm sorry, like I hate to be a pessimist. I feel like no matter what, when it comes to political issues, like no matter what answer you have, it's the wrong answer. Because if there was a right answer, we'd already be doing it. Like, we're all just like at the whim of
80-year-old politicians.
Well, and the economy and like the flow of like the path that's kind of already been set, you know. And I don't really think there's so much. I don't think there's much you can do to like pivot things away from the way they've been going.
What change can you make?
Realistically, what can you do?
Move to another.
It's the
country.
same thing. I mean, not to get this like really dark, but like with the school shootings, like what change do you do?
I mean, I've been reading, or I don't know how biased it is, but when the assault weapon ban went down, 43% of shootings went down 34%. When it got, when the ban went away, shootings increased by 246%. Now, the NRA posted something that was like, you see, the number one rifles only account for this much shootings, and the number and knives account for. So let's say rifles account for 20%, knives count for 34% of deaths. What they left out was handguns, which account for like 82% of deaths.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like no, guns definitely kill way more people than anything else in the U.S. every year.
Yeah.
So it's like, and this shooting, the guy asked his sister to buy an assault rifle for him. She said no. When he was of legal age to buy an assault rifle, that's when he killed people.
Yeah. And that's the thing is it's like, I mean, what do you actually do? Because if you fully ban guns, I mean, there is some validity to the argument that is like, I mean, it's not like criminals are going to follow the laws. You know what I mean? And we have a northern border. We have a southern border. We have tons of coastline. Like, illegal smuggling is like going to happen, right? But it's, you know, everyone wants to pretend the issue is cut and dry as we either need more guns or we need no guns or we need to put more good guys with guns versus bad guys with guns.
I mean, the good guys with guns didn't even work.
They don't don't do anything.
The police officers waited like over an hour before going
in. And it happened at Parkland too. They fucking didn't do anything.
They told the Border Patrol agents to don't go in, and then after 30 minutes, the Border Patrol agents were like, "Fuck you, cops! We're going in and killing this guy." Like, I slightly understand the whole thing about cops being scared to shoot someone because of everything that's going on. But if
he's actively murdering children, there's no debate. There's no hesitation.
If somebody walked onto a school premises
with a gun, period,
kill them. I don't think you'll get fucking attacked for that. Like, somebody's on school premises with a gun, kill the motherfucker.
And like, yeah, I mean, it's all just it's really fucked. I mean, everyone's already heard everything from the media, but I think at the end of the day, like, everyone's just same of the sick fucking cycle that just keeps happening.
Dude, I'm
like,
just sick
it's school shooting and then media outcry everyone talks about gun bans. Everyone talks about giving good guys guns to stop bad guys
and then
with
nothing
guns.
happens.
Nothing actually changes. Shit calms down for a while, and then there's another fucking school shooting.
And
When are people going to start talking or trying to figure out fucking
the funny thing is
solutions that are different?
This only happens in the U.S. This is the only country that has this many school shootings or mass shootings, like legit.
Well, I don't know another country that has written in guns into their like fundamental
Constitution.
Beliefs. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Like, we're the only country where everyone's allowed to have a gun unless you're a felon. It's wild.
And we're kind of stuck with that because the issue is it's a slippery slope in changing the Bill of Rights.
Yep.
And you don't want to give government too much power, and that's what a lot of people are afraid of. But you can't do nothing.
Like I think like almost every other country, they don't have the right to free speech. Like, you can get in trouble for saying something on the internet, and the police can come at your door and be like, "Yo, dude, you're going to prison for this shit." So like I see like the whole, like, if we amend the Second Amendment, then they can change the First Amendment.
And the First Amendment's really important.
But, to a degree, the First Amendment doesn't even matter that much anymore because all the billionaires bought out the fucking news media outlets, so you just hear what they want you to fucking hear. And it's the small-time, like, podcasters and news agencies where you hear the truth.
Yeah. Well, and then I also wonder, a lot. Oftentimes I kind of think about this where it's like, how much of this, cognizance of, media manipulation is
It's a lot.
because of, but how much of our, like, awareness of it and that stemmed from the internet becoming a thing and people being able to discuss it and people being able to, like, become more aware of it. Like, has it always been as much of an issue as it is now?
I feel like the internet's a great tool and a horrible tool.
Yeah.
Because you can spread misinformation like crazy on it. So, like, and you get stuck in these echo chambers because you only follow beliefs that you want to hear.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, my belief's validated, instead of hearing, like, a argumentative opinion. You shut that out immediately. You're like, I'm not going to listen to that. Let me go to my Facebook group. Let me go to my podcast that supports whatever I believe.
And to be fair, like, devil's advocate, it's hard not to. It's hard to listen to opinions that you blatantly think are wrong. It's hard to listen to opinions you don't agree with. And that's why people end up in these kind of echo chamber traps. But the issue is that, you're never going to think outside of the box if you're just living inside of kind of the box you've assigned yourself in. And then when are we ever going to find, like, actual practical solutions to problems?
I don't know. I feel like, back in the day, people died for their beliefs. I don't see people dying for their beliefs as much as they used to. I mean, when unions first started, they fucking the companies would hire union busters who would kill people. When the coal miners didn't want to work those crazy hours and get paid shit, they called the National Guard on those people and had the National Guard fucking kill those people. The government killed those people. And that's when we won those rights. And it's like, no one's willing to actually do anything. I guess we just, I mean, I don't know what.
I think we're just at the whim of, like, how things play out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we really have that much impact on how things are going to play out from here.
I mean, I don't even want to listen to the media or scroll through Imgur anymore because of how depressed it makes me. Like, I want to delete my Facebook. I want to delete all my social media apps because it just negatively impacts my mental health so much.
No, people are, especially in our generation, are starting to, rather than participate in politics, separate themselves from it. And I think the unfortunate part of that is that only further exemplifies the polarization in politics, because the people who are still participating are the ones who haven't given up like that and are just being pushed to these further and further extremes.
The majority of people or vote are old people. people our age don't vote.
No.
Which
and
is
like
why
I didn't vote the last election. My whole life I grew up thinking I'd vote in every election my entire life. I was very passionate about it. And then as things went on, it's just like what does it fucking matter? I mean, I really don't think who's in power actually like matters that much.
No. I mean, we got oligarchs in America now that run everything because corporations have a voice and they can just donate as much money as they need until they get their votes passed. I mean, look, that's probably why marijuana isn't recreational
100%.
federally.
100%.
Is because of Big Pharma just donating as much money as they can to keep it illegal.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people with ADHD can just smoke marijuana, and it helps with their symptoms to where
So
they
many
don't
people
have
with
to be on
PTSD.
Vyvanse. PTSD. They want to keep them on the like pharmacopoeia level.
I mean, you can watch videos of people with Parkinson's smoking weed for the first time, and they're shaking violently, and within 5 minutes they're almost completely calm.
It's insane.
It's insane what it can do, and I'm not saying it's the answer for everyone. I'm not even like trying to encourage people to like use cannabis, but the fact that it's still illegal and still marked as a Schedule 1 drug, which means it has no medicinal benefit, when you can watch video evidence of it aiding people medicinally, but that somehow still hasn't changed with like 2 decades of evidence
like
of it
it
being
can keep
used
kids
as medicine.
from having horrible seizures, and
Yeah.
it's like nope, it's not valid.
It's how does that work? How can you trust your politicians? How can you trust your government? How can you trust them? How can you believe something's serving in your own best interest when there's things like this? And there's more than just weed, but weed's the easiest thing to talk about, where there are people who have hundreds of seizures a day. And you and I know this, through firsthand experience meeting people like this that have, literally hundreds of seizures a day. But when they use CBD and cannabis-derived products, that drops to nearly zero.
It's insane. It's like if this podcast takes off and I start making shitloads of money, I don't want to live in this country anymore.
No.
I want to leave.
Yeah, and I think also going back to like the internet and how that has kind of influenced especially people in our generation, like I don't think patriotism is a big thing anymore. And I think back in the day it was
Huge.
think about the 50s, you know what I mean?
Cold
it was
War
about
scare.
yeah, and
It was like
you got the
always a war
atomic
scare.
family. Like you think about America, you think about the atomic family, you think about everyone's happy, the dad's working, the mom's home. Like,
Well, I saw some ads that are like for like grills and stuff, and it's always like the dad's pissed at the wife, but is like in love with the neighbor, and it's always like homoerotic to where the dad's like trying to fuck the neighbor, basically, the neighbor guy, because they both hate their fucking wives.
that's the most American fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's like you hate your wife because they're women, and you love your neighbor because they're men.
But I think as people are being exposed to more information and they're starting to realize, like, why should I just like blindly love America? Like, we were
That's
raised
nationalism. That's
like-
not patriotism. That's nationalism. Patriotism is being able to see faults within your country
and want to
and fixing
improve.
them.
Yeah.
Nationalism is there's nothing wrong. Let's just keep going the way we are until it is the best. Or I mean, until we rule the world.
Like, and kind of on the same point, the pledge, fucking weird.
I mean,
you don't question it as a kid. The pledge is fucking
it's
weird.
indoctrination.
It's indoctrination.
And before the Cold War scare, God wasn't in our pledge.
No.
So many people
and
are
also
like,
in God We Trust wasn't always on our currency.
Nope, it wasn't until the Cold War scare, because they were atheists, that they did that shit. And everyone's like, no, God's always been part of America, blah blah blah. No, America's always been about separation from church and state, to where you can worship wherever you want, and it doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why we're trying to like make America a Christian society. It's wild.
I mean, the only thing that the country should be focused on
It's not
is-
killing kids.
I mean, true, but on that same note, kind of a bit broader, it should be interested in, the health and well-being of its people and
Yeah.
its citizens.
But they
and
don't care about
that's
that.
that's not how it's playing out, and that's not how that's definitely not how it feels our government is currently operating.
Going, yeah. What's a light topic we can get into?
Yeah, a fucking hard pivot from politics. God damn.
We just keep going into it because that's such a major thing.
I mean, yeah, right now it's so hard not to talk about that sort of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a light topic we can talk about. Fucking
What's funny?
what's funny? Bo Burnham.
Bo
is
Burnham's
fucking
funny. He's got a lot of good things. His last one was really funny.
Inside.
But that's political.
Oh shit.
You can't get into that. It's
Oh
political.
shit.
Um,
Do you have a favorite comedian, Wyatt?
I do. He's controversial.
Lay it on me.
Louis C.K.
Oh, Bobby, get out of my computer. Bobby, you are literally standing on my graphics card.
But yeah, Louis C.K., he whipped his dick out in front of a bunch of people and started jerking off for whatever reason. That's how he gets off. And his previous specials were so funny, so
Yeah.
great. And then in his newest one where he talks in depth about what he did, he's like, everybody has a kink, but it's different than everybody knowing your kink, which is jerking it off in front of people, which was so funny. He did it so hilariously.
I didn't see it.
It's
Is it
pretty
on
good.
Netflix or what?
I think it's on Netflix. I think I listened to it on Spotify. He's still one of my favorite comedians just with everything he did. There's another one something Sasso where he's in New York and he pays this kid to go get a flyer from these people dressed up as the KKK and then he gets it and it's actually fucking PETA protesting a purebred dog dog competition where an AKC thing where it's who's the best dog and they grade all the dogs and he's like, so I just paid this kid $20 to give me a pamphlet that I could have gotten because these people aren't really from the Ku Klux Klan, they're just crazy people from PETA.
Dude, fuck PETA, man. They've done so many fucked weird things. They had some shit where they were all standing at McDonald's and then handing out fucking fake Happy Meals to kids with all this violent imagery of animals getting killed.
Or them putting violent imagery of sheeps getting sheared when sheeps need to get sheared and it doesn't actually
Dude, yeah,
cut their skin.
what the fuck? They have no situational awareness. They have no
PETA's an extremist
It is
group.
an extremist organization that also has been literally documented and found to steal people's pets and then take them in and euthanize them.
It's fucking wild.
It's so insane, how fucking ass backwards is shit that there's people for ethical treatment of animals and they steal people's pets, which are
And
being
kill them.
loved and adored, and fucking kill them. And then they fucking also make fake fucking Pokemon video games where you're using them to fucking dogfight.
Wait,
You're
that's legit.
yes, Pokemon Black and Blue from PETA. Yeah, and it's you play it and they're basically little dog fights with Pokemon. And they're all beating the shit out of each other.
Why do we just keep getting dark?
Dude, I don't know. I think it's got to be the fat tire, man.
It's gotta be the fat tire.
Maybe this beer isn't so good.
All right, tell me a joke.
Um,
What's a joke that's funny? Or not funny. It doesn't even have to be funny.
what's the opposite of Christopher Walken?
Christopher Reeves. I told you that joke.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
I learned that on Team 4-Star, and I told you that joke.
No, you did not tell me that joke.
Bullshit. Well, I
Bullshit.
definitely saw Team 4-Star before you.
Okay. But you didn't tell me that joke. I heard it from somebody else.
Probably Team 4-Star then.
Yeah, because we were both watching it. Team 4-Star's great.
Fucking great show. If you haven't seen it, watch Dragon Ball Z Abridged on YouTube.
It's pretty great.
It's phenomenal.
They end on the best season to end.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z should have ended on Cell Saga.
Cell Saga. Back to anime. So you're reading the Demon Slayer manga, right?
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Are you
It's
caught
so
up
good.
or like?
Very close to finishing. I mean, there's no caught up. It's done. They've finished writing Demon Slayer, I think, a while ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's been done for a minute.
So
That's why
what
I
about
couldn't.
the anime?
I couldn't wait to finish the show because like they're making like a season every 2 years or a season every year and a half, and it's they're barely even into it. Oh, Bobby set off a toy, I think.
I guess, yeah.
That was kind of creepy.
Okay, so Demon Slayer's over.
Demon Slayer is done. And I'm almost done with Demon Slayer, and it's fucking
So you're past
good.
manga. I mean anime.
I'm past the anime, yeah. I'm well past the anime.
That's kind of sad.
Uh,
I wasn't hoping it was going to end anytime soon, but I guess that's
It's
life.
not going to end anytime soon in the anime because they fucking drag it. I mean, they don't drag it out, but like they're taking their time with the animation. They're doing it really, really well. And, that means they cover like one arc every year and a half, which is at a pace where maybe in 5-6 years the show will be done.
Okay. I mean, I'm still sad because it's like a show that I like ended, but I haven't seen the ending yet. I don't know. It's weird. It's like when you finish like a show you've been dedicated to,
Yeah.
and it ends, you're like, what do I do now?
Yeah, but
deal.
I'd rather the show be written out and done and have known the direction it wants to go and known where the story wants to go and stop there
Instead of dragged out.
than dragging
forever.
it out. Like, remember when I was super into The Flash
Yeah.
and Arrow?
And they dragged it the fuck
And they just
out.
drag it out. It's like the first 2 seasons, they have a clear vision of what they want to do with the story and what they want to do with the show and what they want to do with the characters, and it's phenomenal. And then
So why do you hate Iris?
they milk it. Why did I hate Iris on
Yeah.
Flash? Because she was fucking annoying. What did she contribute? She didn't contribute anything, and everything she did contribute, it just felt so shoehorned in. It was like, goddamn, like, it just didn't feel realistic. Like, there were, like, no actual contributions from her character, like, towards the story. But then they're just like, give her more screen time.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of bad television shows out there, but
That start good. And then
they start
drag
good,
it too
and then
long.
that's what was great about Breaking Bad. 5 seasons.
Yeah.
They knew what they wanted to do. They did it, and then topical. And then when it was done, it was done. And they made Better Call Saul after it, and that's
Which
its own
was good.
story, and it's good. And now it's finishing. There is something to be said about a vision that's seen through to the end and then being like written out and performed and finalized all at once versus something that is, they're starting to produce it and they still don't know the ending, and then money starts to get involved and they drag it out. That's part of what fucking ruined Naruto for me, honestly, is because like I get in this argument a lot with people, but the 4th Great Ninja War was fucking shit. I hated it. I did not think it was good. And I think they just dragged that show
I think
out.
the
They
Pain arc
ruined
was
the
the
power
best.
scaling. Yeah, they should have ended after the Pain arc. Pain arc should have been it. They should have found a way to wrap it all up there.
I mean, like, Tokyo Ghoul, I just binge watched the first season. Last night, I was like, let me watch episode 1. Pretty good. Episode 2, I'm like, where is this going? And I look it up, and it's like, season 2 doesn't follow the manga. Season 3, where everyone gets super fucking confused and doesn't understand anything that's going on, is them trying to reboot the series because they didn't follow the manga, and it just ruined everything.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not unheard of. I mean, Full Metal Alchemist, they started it when the manga was still going, and then they were passing the manga, and they were like, well, we'll write our own ending, and then it sucked.
Yep.
And then they had to make a whole other show, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which actually followed the manga, and it's
Fucking
one of the
slaps.
greatest shows of all time.
So good. So
There's
slaps.
just let the original authors finish their vision and
Game
then
of
turn it
Thrones.
into something. Game of Thrones. Oh my god. So bad.
So bad, the ending.
Insane. But George R.R. Martin will never finish it.
You think he's going to die?
He's
before he
fucking
finishes it?
obese and like in his 70s.
And penis. I love the South Park thing. And now they ride it with their penises. And there's more penises.
Oh
and
my
it's
God.
just all penis.
Yeah.
And he's like, my friend really needs his insulin shot. He's like, no, it's on the way, but penises.
Oh my God, no! But they fucking ruined that show, and it's honestly, it's a really good example that you bring up because, yeah, I mean the first 5 seasons are pretty good because they're pretty tied into the books. After season 3, they start to divulge a lot more, and you also see the quality start to drop. Then season 6, kind of meh. The season finale, phenomenal, but also like definitely where the books were heading anyway, and I'm sure George R.R. Martin had a big part to play.
Well, that's the funniest thing is like, the people directing that series were like, oh, we're such good directors, we're such good producers or whatever, and then when they didn't have fucking like book material to follow, it just eats shit.
Yeah, and they still think they're like so good, Dan and Dave. They still think they're so good, and yet they get fired from all their other projects because they dropped the ball so fucking hard.
It's wild. But you know, we're coming up to like a fucking hour and 40-minute podcast.
Yeah.
And I need to go to bed.
I do too. Do we both open tomorrow?
I open.
Do you know when I work?
No.
Fuck. I think I open with you. I think I'm open to close.
Lol, you did that to yourself. But
all right. Well, I appreciate you having me on the podcast, man. I'm looking forward to watching hopefully next week's episode where Austin will be making his triumphant return with his smooth, chocolatey voice.
And I watched Dodgeball today, and this means I love you.
Wow. I fucking love you too, bro. I love all the viewers out there. And, you know, keep watching Drunk Daddies, and make sure to tune in for episodes of I'm Drunk and She Calls Me Daddy.
Yeah, we're going to have those. But yeah, please be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video if you liked it, subscribe even if you don't. Subscribe to our clip channel, go onto all of our pages, our Instagram, our TikToks, and I hope you guys have a great night.
Have a great rest of your night, guys. Bye.
Bye.